in dire need. We work with children who are bullied, children who are isolated, and we give them a space where they belong in our program called Fiddleheads. Many schools and families we work with do not have the resources needed to support their children in effective ways. And this is where we come in. We're providing evidence-based therapies in schools and in the communities and in nature that are both effective and affordable. Our vision and commitment is that in 10 years, social and emotional literacy are taught to every child. Empathy and mindfulness are embedded into our education system, and therapeutic services and counseling are accessible to all in need. I've got a lot of cards up here, so just hang with me. Seeds hires and trains over 50 mental health clinicians a year to do this powerful work. We're at 17 schools. We're at 7 locations running after-school programs and summer camps in our regional parks. And our Oakland and Petaluma family counseling centers are growing every day. We're serving over 1,200 children per year. Micah is one of these children. Micah is a 9-year-old that lives in the East Bay. He was born into a really hard situation, to a single mother, teenager, who didn't have the resources she needed to provide a stable home. Tragically, his mother drank, and her boyfriend was abusive to him. He was traumatized, and lucky for Micah, his grandmother came in when he was 3 and brought him under her home. Micah had PTSD, and school was really hard for him. He couldn't sit still, he couldn't focus on his schoolwork. He acted out, he got in fights. His future did not look good. His pediatrician diagnosed him with ADHD and prescribed him medications that didn't help. Micah missed his mom, and he was afraid of the world. His grandmother was overwhelmed and under-resourced. And thankfully, Seeds of Awareness began to teach mindfulness and provide therapy at his school. Micah took right to it. He learned the anchor breath, how to use his breath to support himself and to create calm in his nervous system. I'm using that right now. Micah learned the safe space meditation. And I'm on the verge, I was going to do it with everyone, but I think I have enough to say, so I want to skip that. But in this exercise, Micah was taught to close his eyes or leave them open, and he was guided through a meditation so he can imagine a safe place, a place where he feels protected and where he feels calm and good. And he used that meditation. He used it every night to help him sleep. And it made a big difference in his life. And we supported his teachers and we supported his grandmother to help support Micah more. And they referred him to one of our counselors who worked with him intensively, 2 days a week. And over time, Micah's symptoms shifted and he healed. And he's healing. And this is a long process. For Micah, Seeds of Awareness made a big difference. There are over 800 children we serve in our school program like Micah, who now have support, who now have new tools to deal with life's challenges. There are 200 more children we serve every year in our Fiddleheads nature-based after-school program and summer camp. Fiddleheads is a nurturing social skills and friendship group for children who struggle socially, who have difficulty making friends, who don't fit in like the other kids. These groups take place in nature in our regional parks across the Bay Area in Richmond, Oakland, Berkeley, Lafayette, San Francisco, Marin, and Petaluma. We connect children to nature. We connect children to each other. and we connect children to themselves. Fiddleheads is for children like Sequoia. I taught Sequoia when she was 7 years old, and she was at her school and she also struggled. She was socially awkward, she was teased, she was left out, she didn't fit in. And the kids were, not very forgiving for her social differences. She got angry, she got mad, she threw sand in kids' faces, she pushed them, she didn't know how to deal with her feelings that were coming up around this. She didn't understand it. It was too much. Sequoia had autism, and her environment and her friends and everything around her were just overwhelming to her. Again, her parents and teachers didn't know how to support her. They were considering transferring her to another school. They were considering medication for her. But lucky at that time, that's when she found Fiddleheads, and she enrolled in our program. And Sequoia's life changed when she came to Fiddleheads. For the first time in her life, she found a place where she belonged. She made new friends, and she learned ways to control her emotions. It wasn't easy, as everyone who's ever worked in Fiddleheads can tell you. Her challenges came out in the group. And luckily, we had really skilled counselors who helped her to find new ways to deal with her struggles, new ways to communicate what she was feeling and what she was needing. And gradually, Sequoia learned how to be a friend. She learned how to get along. She learned how to deal with her emotions in more effective ways. And things changed for her at school and at home. I'll never forget 1 year later when Sequoia was still with our Fiddleheads group, and there were new kids coming who were struggling like she was, and she taught them what to do. I sat back. She was the counselor, and she was the one telling the children to take a deep breath when she was angry, and telling the children to ask for what they needed. She internalized what we were teaching her, and it's really helped her through her life. And for hundreds of children, Fiddleheads is a home. It's a place where they belong. I can just stay and keep telling you many, many more stories, but we're so lucky to have a parent and an educator who's experienced our program firsthand. And her name is Jane Waxman, and I'd like to invite Jane up to tell you about her experience.
I've got my readers on for these, and so I'll try not to fall off the stage. Hey, thank you for having me. My name's Jane Waxman, and I am Learning Support Coordinator at Live Oak Charter School here in Petaluma. And can everyone hear me okay, by the way? Is it okay? Thanks. And we are really fortunate to have a very vibrant SEEDS counseling program at our school. And because I work with so many children in my position, I really get to see firsthand how many children have been impacted so strongly by our program. So it's been something that I've really been able to just watch unfolding in front of me. I have gotten to see the amazing SEEDS counselors showing up at IEP meetings. I don't know if they get paid for that time or not, but they just seem like they're always available to do what's ever needed. At student study teams, I know that they provide a bridge with private therapists or whatever other supports are in place for these children with needs. They are bringing social and emotional learning programs into the classrooms and supporting the teachers wherever that support is needed, which is a huge thing. And they're also bringing a culture of mindfulness to the school. So with all of those things that they're doing, it's like this cumulative power where the social emotional learning is very strong in our school. When I think about how our school community has benefited from the SEEDS program, I have this picture, often I'm sort of traveling from classroom to classroom or going to get children that I'm working with, and so very often I see a SEEDS counselor walking with a student to and from their counseling session, and I have this image that I hold in my mind that they're holding a cord. We're in a Waldorf-inspired school, so it's a silken cord in my mind. And they're holding these cords, and they're sort of traveling back and forth across the campus of the school. And as they're doing that, it feels to me like they're literally building a safety net. Like, that's how I imagine them. And I realized